This is video 3 in the Maya interface series for absolute beginners, where we're taking a look at the Maya interface for the first time. We've talked about the menu bar, we've talked about the status line, and in this video we're going to talk about the shelf. The shelf is a series of tabs that contains tool sets or action sets of icons or buttons that do different things depending on how you're working in Maya or what you're working on. If you're working on polygons or surfaces and sculpting, you have different tools that are helpful in each of those areas. When you're beginning in Maya, a lot of these can just be overwhelming, and what I like to do is, instead of having all these up, I like to create my own custom shelf, and I delete it, so we'll go ahead and do that together. I'll create a new shelf and call this custom shelf. Hit OK, and it says illegal characters. I guess I cannot put a space, so let's try that again. Custom shelf. I'm doing it again. Okay, shelf. Alright, so it allows me to put a new shelf, and what I recommend you do as a beginner, as you learn a new tools, because there's so many new tools, instead of just having everything in front of you at once, what I like to do is, suppose I'm learning a tool, the insert edge loop, and I want it to have the option box with it. You can hit Control Shift and click on that option box, and it will add that to your active shelf. So now I have my own list of icons. As I learn them, I can add them, and so I know what I know, and then eventually you'll probably know most of these, and you may not need your custom shelf, but I recommend for now that you do that. And if these other ones get in your way, you can delete them, and it doesn't really delete them. Makes them invisible, and there are ways of restoring them. If you're interested in that, I do have a video on that you can check out. I'll leave a link here, but that's it. Also, when you're doing things in Maya, there are mail commands. Let's just click. This is your script editor. This kind of charts anytime we do something in Maya. Behind the scenes, there are these commands being given to the computer, and notes being made. So anytime, like I select a tool, and suppose I make something. So when I created that polygon, it created that by using this command here, where it has the name of the command and different flags that mean different things. And each one of these, this particular command was to create an object, and that defines the radius, and that requires the subdivisions. And so if I were to go and this is the scale. What if when I scale it up, as soon as I release it, and then there's there's something for scale. It says, well, it scaled it, and probably X, Y, Z, and Y I stretched it, and there's a rotate here, and these little commands are recorded in the script editor. So why am I showing you this while we're talking about the shelf? Well, bear with me. So I'm going to take these two commands here. I'm just going to middle mouse them, drag them here, and I want to show you something neat about the script editor. And sorry about that, I'm just trying to delete that. Okay, so if I create an object, and I can highlight this mail script that I created from the history, and on my number pad, if I hit enter, it will apply these commands. And that's where you get in things called mail scripting. You can do it in MEL, Maya Embedded Language, or Python. And you notice what happened there. And you notice how each one of these attributes affected differently. So the radius there was that was rotate. Suppose we wanted to, that was scale. Suppose we want to elongate this even further. So now it's going to elongate it up to 5 instead of 2. And so you see what's happening. All right. What connections does this have with the attribute, with the shelf? So something that you can do that I find very interesting, I find this very cool, probably more advanced than I need to show right now, but you can drag these scripts up to your shelf and create a custom button. So once and I just grabbed a few lines of very basic code, and we'll get rid of that now, but I like this because now if I can call this my elongate and scale and rotate script. So anytime I create something, I can go here and say, hey, apply my little script. And you can edit the name here. I can go here and say, let's go to my shelf editor, and on my custom shelf I want to go to this item. I can give it a name here. So on my tooltip, I'm just going to call this rotate and scale. Why am I somehow got on cap lock? Rotate and scale. Icon label, rotate and scale. What's really neat is I can add a custom icon. So I can click here, and earlier I was playing around and I thought it was really cool. So I made an icon here, just something, it's 32 by 32 pixels, just a PNG I created in Photoshop. And where it says rotate and scale, I might just do RS because it looks like it's not going to fit anyway. Actually, I don't want a label. And save all shelves. And I've made not only my custom mail script, but I have a button to operate it. So I think that's cool. You may not. But let's move on. The shelf is a great place to keep your buttons as you're learning by creating a custom shelf, and as you it can be an easy place to find things. Anyway, that's the shelf. In the next tutorial, we're going to start talking about the viewport panels and maybe the tools, and I hope to see you there.